Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's good to be back again. Today I'm going to talk about, oh God, what am I going to talk about? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about master's applications, postgraduate applications, as well as a little bit into the Harvard experience for me. So one of the biggest questions that I get whenever I meet people or just through like social media and stuff is, first of all, how did you do it? Second of all, what was it like? And it's really difficult for me because those are such big and meaty, chunky questions that it's been really difficult for me to find a way to distill and, make a succinct summary of the two questions. So I thought I'd come and do a video on it and then refer people, because it's always nice when people ask you a big question.
Hello, well, I have a video that's actually addressed that, so in your own time.
But yeah, let's get into the thick of it. So I studied international education policy at Harvard. I decided to study IUP, which is the acronym for it, because I was super keen in social mobility. Like, I do a lot of access and outreach work, and I'm still really involved in a lot of the work in the UK. And I was just super curious to see how like our American counterparts would face social mobility, particularly because they are so visible when it comes to, making those changes. So I decided to go for that. And I also applied for a couple of scholarships to support my way, because I don't know about you guys, but it ain't cheap. This education in the United States is actually ridiculously expensive. And the tuition, this is like without any residential housing or stuff like that, or like your living costs. Tuition for the year was $52K. So I decided to apply. My application consisted of the GRE, which is the graduate entrance exam, the general one. If you're doing something that's more like maths heavy or like engineering, you might have to do something different to that. But generally for postgraduate qualifications, it's the GRE. A personal statement and references from people that knew me very well, as well as / being upstanding members of the community. So if you are interested in postgraduate qualifications, it's important that you know that you are going to need at least 2 references. One can be from like someone you've worked with, but ideally you'd also want somebody that's that knows you pretty well and is aware of like, the way that you work. Another thing that I'd add to that is your personal statement. I'm gonna do a whole other like rejigged personal statement video, since that has so much like demand at the moment. But make sure your personal statement is, amazing. There's slight differences between the UK and US personal statement requirements. Slight, they're not really that big. The US really emphasizes,
I want you to be an all-rounder. I want you to be, an upstanding member of the community.
That's like, they really love that kind of stuff. So really make sure that when you're applying for a course, particularly if you're thinking about US study, it's really about not just the ways in which, you can learn from your course, or like your love for your course, but also how is it that you have come to be the person for this course? What are the things that you're doing outside, the extracurriculars that really demonstrate that interest? And then I applied for scholarships. So the scholarships that I applied for were the Frank Knox Fellowship, the Kennedy Memorial Trust Scholarship, the Fulbright Scholarship, and I was going to apply for the Bunac Scholarship, but I got one of the scholarships before that needed to be sent over. So that was a blessing. Typically these scholarships close earlier than the deadline for Harvard. So the Kennedy Memorial Trust, which is the scholarship I ended up getting, the deadline is in October. Typically master's / postgraduate degrees in MIT and Harvard close in December. So you really want to make sure that, you've prepared your materials for scholarships if that's the way you're going down to like fund your postgraduate stuff across the Atlantic. And yeah, like I was successful. Let me know if you guys want me to like go into that in more depth, like the application process and, like my top tips for that, and just like general postgraduate stuff. I can really help with that. But yeah, let's get into what was Harvard like. What was it like being in the US? Like, how did you feel? It was great. I loved it. When I first went, I was kind of like, I'm a little bit nervous, a little bit scared because, you know, the US is such a different kettle of fish. Like it's really, you know, a longer way, far away, but not too far. It was like a 7-hour plane at max. But I really ended up enjoying it. I just love the fact that the US is so culturally diverse. It's so vibrant. It's so full of life. Sometimes it was exhausting because, you know, us Brits, we're cold. Sometimes we're tired. Nobody talks to you on the tube. In the US, people talk to you. Like, you'll go to the grocery. As soon as they hear that accent, it's like, oh.
What's that accent? That sounds so good. Are you from London?
When they hear that you're from the UK, goodness gracious. I loved it. I lapped all of it up. But, yeah, no, being in the United States was amazing, and just being exposed to so many different types of cultures and meeting so many different types of people. Like, some of my really, really good friends that I met in the United States, like, the love I have for them. I love you guys. I miss you all. Yeah, I love, like, the nature of the relationships was so different there as well. Like, they love gassing you up in the United States. I love that. Yeah, but in terms of like my actual Harvard experience, I think I mentioned this in a video before, but in terms of like my experience with undergrad and postgrad, I actually found the depth and like the academic stuff was easier than my undergrad, which was at Oxford. But the breadth, so the types and different stuff I was learning was kind of difficult to manage at first. So for me, it was a case of, you know, I did a lot of courses in the Kennedy and the law school. So if you do a postgraduate qualification at Harvard or MIT, you have this thing where you can, it's called cross-registering. If you find a course that you like in a different school, you can go there and do that course within reason. So it depends on like your course requirements. So I ended up going to other schools quite a lot, purely because I had such diverse interests. I ended up like studying a module in corporate finance. I ended up studying a module in, you know, statistics. I ended up studying a module in public policy, and I loved it. Like, I found it difficult with all the math stuff. I don't envy you maths people. Like, you guys got something going on there. But yeah, I really enjoyed that freedom to really curate your interests and develop skills in areas that you wouldn't have, you know, the same opportunity to do so in other postgraduate qualifications. The food was good. It was a little bit artificial, like the grocery store food. It didn't feel like real food, but I did love like the ethnic food, you know, like the Caribbean food, Cuban food, you know, oh God. I miss it. Like, that's the first thing that I'm gonna do, like, when I go back, is just, like, eat a lot of food. I love Chick-fil-A. Like, even though it's artificial, I love Chick-fil-A. I loved Wendy's. There's a lot of places that I miss. Yeah, no, it was fun. I think the only thing that, like, the cons I would say that were, you know, a real downer on the Harvard experience is I didn't like the whole coldness thing. Like, the kind of coldness, like, basically the weather extremes were extremes. It was like hella cold in winter, like minus 13 degrees Celsius, that kind of chilliness. I genuinely thought I was gonna die. I said, no, I'm not, you know, I ain't trying to die out here. It was really cold. And then you have the summers. The summers are ridiculously hot. Like, why should summer be this hot? It's ridiculous. But yeah, I really did enjoy being in the United States. It was just so much fun. Like, it was just like, if you guys ever get an opportunity to like go abroad for an extended period of time, please go. It's so much fun and you learn so much. Like, I can barely cover everything in this video because I want to keep it nice and concise and short. But it was really an experience, and it really helped me in, you know, coming into a season of adulthood. It really helped me put into perspective a lot of my goals because they're so dynamic and ambitious in the United States, and I really, really admire that about them. Politics aside, we can't even complain because Brexit. But it was such a nice and vibrant place. My favorite places was definitely, I love New York purely because it reminded me of like a bigger London. And I loved Los Angeles. I loved Los Angeles. Like,
I'm a Cali girl at heart.
I love Los Angeles, honestly and truly. So yeah, just take the opportunity. Like, if postgrad is something you see yourself doing, particularly abroad, you actually have nothing to lose by applying. So I definitely recommend it. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in another video. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that it was useful. If you have any more questions, y'all know where to find me on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. So yeah, see y'all later.